my name is Beth Joy, and I am the owner and lead trainer of Unleash Joy Dog Training. And Fiona, I guess she's to your, is she to your left?
Don't worry.
Is my assistant. She's wonderful. And we're both going to be talking about reactive dogs today. She's going to give me a hand. Do me a favor, hold all your questions until the end of the webinar. Write them down if you need to. At the end of the webinar, we are going to be staying behind and answering questions. Okay, so please don't interrupt while we're talking. Otherwise, I won't remember what I'm saying. We don't want that to happen. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to pretend I know how to do this. Here we are.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Does everybody see that? Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So a reactive dog is one that responds to normal events in his environment with a higher than normal level of intensity. Some of these overreactions include barking, whining, lunging, hypervigilance, panting, pacing, restlessness, and difficulty responding to his owner, even for a well-known cue such as sit. Has everybody realized that about their dogs when they're reactive? You'll know that that happens. I mean, if you've got a reactive dog and you're out there and he's reacting, you try to ask him to sit or even take a treat, he's not going to because his emotions are too high. So leash reactivity is unfortunately one of the most prevalent behavior issues that I deal with as a dog trainer, and I think a lot of dog trainers do. And there's a lot of reasons for this. And I applaud everyone for coming here and trying to help your dog, because this is the first step to helping your dog get better. All right, so in this webinar, we're gonna talk about what the behavior is and why it happens and ways that you can manage it. So we'll also talk about how we work on changing a dog's association with the things that he reacts to through the use of counter conditioning and desensitization. Okay, so reactivity is a reaction, just like it sounds, right? It's an instantaneous reaction that your dog has no control over. And to put it in a human perspective, what would you do if I threw a spider at your face? You're gonna go, ah, right? You're gonna have a reaction that you are gonna have no control over that reaction. It's going to happen. And that's exactly what happens when your dog sees a trigger or sees something that worries him or something that he responds to in that way. It is a reaction he does not have any control over, okay? And that's the first thing you wanna know, because it's gonna help the way you treat your dog and how you deal with this behavior with your dog. Come on, why won't he listen? Okay, so your dog's behavior at this point is governed by his emotions, okay? He does not have the cognitive awareness of what he is doing. I want you to think about that. He does not have the cognitive awareness of what he is doing. His cognitive brain has taken a back seat to his emotional brain for the moment. Therefore, he is unable to do what you have asked him, okay? And that is so important, because you get so frustrated with your dog when he reacts like this, as if he has control over it, and he does not, right? And in knowing that, it's going to help you, because one of the things I'm going to tell you to do is really be, your dog's advocate. Treat your dog in a way that you're helping him instead of hurting him, because a lot of times we make this behavior much worse because of our reactions. And have you tried giving your dog a treat when they reacted like this? Or have you tried to ask them to sit or do any kind of other behaviors and they don't listen to you? And then you get more frustrated because they're not listening to you and they're still reacting. So it kind of snowballs, and you're reacting just as bad as your dog is at this point, right? So sometimes it starts out where you have a puppy and the puppy is excited to go see another person or another dog, and that can oftentimes spiral into a negative association, and I'll tell you why. Okay, so the reason that this happens, there's multiple reasons. One of them is genetics. Your dog is possibly genetically predisposed to have this behavior. A lot of herding dogs have this behavior because they're sight driven. Your dog may have, his mom, the puppy's mother might have been very stressed out in the womb, so her stress levels were really high. What?
Never mind. I was trying to help you out. You did
I
great.
know. What'd you say? What'd you say?
For a puppy, if the mom is extremely stressed,
Yes.
her puppy was born with the stress hormones.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, exactly. So that's a possibility because, think about it. A mom who is, on the streets, she's pregnant. It's just like with humans, our stress levels are high if we're pregnant and we're having a bad time. And then we have a child that could be passed on to the child because of that. Under socialization is a huge reason why your dog does this. And that means socialization. Most people think that just means, oh, I have to go expose my dogs to other dogs. That is not what that means. Your dog might be reactive to dogs, to cars, to bikes, to children, to people on skateboards, to people in wheelchairs. And that is because he has not seen this stuff. The socialization period is anywhere between 3 and 16 weeks, give or take a couple of weeks in between, whatever. And if your dog has not been positively associated or shown these things and have given a positive association with them, he's not necessarily going to. He's going to see them when he's older and be like, oh my God, what is that? There's a person riding on a bike. Your dog doesn't understand that it's a person with a bike. To him, it's a person that looks really, really strange and is moving really fast. So that's just, part of under socialization. A bad past experience is another reason. If you've got a dog who was perfectly fine, never reactive, and then a dog off leash attacked him, that can make him reactive. And if he goes to the dog park and a dog attacks him, that can help make him reactive. And that's not to say it's always going to make him reactive, but some dogs, it will make them reactive. Correction training. If you have a dog that's reactive and or even before, if you have a dog that's not reactive and he is excited to go see another dog and you've got a prong collar, choke chain, or shock collar on the dog, and he starts reacting because he's excited and you choke him or you shock him, you are creating a negative association with the dog that he's looking at and that he was just excited about seeing. And from what's going to start happening if you do that is he's going to start saying, oh, wait a minute, I don't want that dog anywhere near me because anytime I get near a dog, I get shocked or I get pulled, choked on my chain. So you want to make sure that if you are using any of those aversive things right now, choke chain, prong collar, or shock collar, you want to make sure you stop that immediately because that is making this behavior worse. Unfortunately, there are still trainers out there that use these things, and they will, some trainers tell you to use these to get rid of this behavior, and it does not get rid of it might get rid of the behavior because it might shut your dog down, but it's not going to get rid of the emotions that are behind the behavior. And that's what you want to do because you don't want to walk your scared dog and have him walk past something he's terrified of. Right? We want to help him feel better and change his emotions and not be afraid of the things. So electric fences are another one. Here's an example. If you have a dog, a lovely puppy, and he's inside of your electric fenced yard and a person is walking down the street in front of your house with a dog or a kid or whatever, and your dog's really excited and runs out and gets shocked, that's going to begin a negative association with people and dogs and kids or whatever it is that he gets shocked. If whatever he's looking at the time and he gets shocked, to him, that's what made it happen. So you want to be careful if you are using an electric fence. I prefer you not, but if you have to, then, just be really careful. And if your dog has any kind of fear issues or is having issues like that, you want to get a positive dog trainer in there to help you out with that. Okay. Another reason, there are so many dogs today. I don't know how old everybody is here, but I know back in the day when I was a kid, everybody didn't have a dog. We'd had a dog on and off every once in a while in my childhood, but not everyone had a dog. This day, everybody's got a dog. It's so common to have a dog. It's kind of odd when people don't have dogs, right? We used to let our dogs out. They'd go out, they'd roam the neighborhood, and they'd come back for dinner, and they weren't on leashes. They could avoid each other. They had plenty of space. We didn't have this behavior back then. So our lifestyles and the way we make dogs, the way we make dogs do things creates this behavior by, you know, putting them on leashes, which creates that whole fight or flight thing where they can't get away, making them walk on sidewalks towards each other, right, while they have a leash on, or you know, narrow hiking places and stuff like that. We're making them walk, towards each other, face to face. And dogs would never do that in real life. Like in their world, they would never just walk up to each other face to face like that. They do that banana curve where they kind of go around like that, right? So when we force them to do that, they're looking at each other like, what are you doing? You know, dogs are body language readers. So they're looking at the other dog's body language. And when another dog's coming at them, it's a little scary. So that's one of the reasons. Let's see. Yeah, so it's all about the association that your dog has with, we'll call it the trigger. The trigger is what your dog's barking at, okay? So it's all about his association with it. If he has a negative association with that trigger, he's going to react to it by barking and lunging, right? And being afraid of it. So the reason he does this is because it works. When a dog barks and lunges at a dog or a person or whatever, that dog, person, whatever goes away every time, right? Because it was going to go away anyway, but your dog doesn't realize that. As far as your dog's concerned, he's the one that made that happen. Sorry, I have a 55-pound puppy that I'm board and training right now, and he's sleeping, but he just kicked something. He's really big. So like when your dog, you know, when dogs bark at mailmen, it's the same thing. You know, you've got this guy coming up to your house every day, putting mail on the slot, and then, you know, your dog barks and goes crazy, and the mailman leaves. And your dog's like, yes, I've just done my job. And they do it because it works, right? It works for them. So what you want to do, and then we get stressed out. Okay. So we get stressed out. When we take our dogs for a walk, you know, everybody, like, you're opening the door and you're like this, and you're looking outside. Are there any people? Are there any dogs out there? You're already, you know, you've already got the leash tight. So your stress is going right through that leash like an umbilical cord, and you're stressing your dog out as well before you even leave the house, most likely. So you want to make sure you're as calm as possible when you walk your dog. And that's we're going to talk about things that you can do. And that's one of the things. So you want to be aware of your reactions. You know, if you're on constant control, you want to constant patrol. You want to make sure you're trying to calm yourself down as much as you possibly can before you go out for a walk. Okay. So what happens in the body when the dog's reacting? Okay. Stress is happening. Okay. Stress raises cortisol levels, and cortisol is the stress hormone, and we all have it, and it creates the fight or flight reflex. Okay. So, sorry, I'm admitting someone again. So let's see. I'm going to let Fiona talk a little bit about the amygdala. Take it away, Fiona.
Okay. All righty.
All you.
Quote by a really good dog trainer, if you aren't aware of her, Patricia McConnell. She's got a lot of good books, so I recommend her. She's 100% positive, rewards-based trainer. So the amygdala is about the size of an almond, and they're on both sides of your brain. And that's the center that processes fear and emotions. And what happens, I'm going to give you an example, then I'm going to explain to you what happens with your hormones. Here's an example. You have a wonderful, perfectly friendly dog, and you're walking your lovely dog, and an off-leash dog comes running up and attacks your dog. And your dog is stressed. And what happens is that the amygdala gets activated, and it starts sending alarms to the brain, to the dog's hypothalamus. And then that hypothalamus sends the stress hormones to the sympathetic nervous system. And then out comes adrenaline and a bunch of other cortisol and a bunch of other stress hormones. And then your hippocampus forms a neural traceway of that event. And that's a negative, that's a really scary event, and that's recorded in your dog's brain. So through counter conditioning and desensitization, you can work with your dog to help to eliminate that fear. But the example that I talked about a few minutes ago, your happy, normal dog is attacked by a dog, and then say he's attacked by a brown dog. A couple things may happen. Your dog may all of a sudden react on a leash to brown dogs because he's terrified of them. He may start reacting to all dogs that he sees. Or if you're really lucky, it's possible you might not be affected by this. But this is what I'm talking about. The amygdala that is what records this cortical memory, and it's a negative memory. And we're going to talk about how you can use classical counter conditioning and desensitization to work with your dog's fears.
Thank you, Fiona. I appreciate it. So lowering your dog's stress levels. Fiona said cortisol is a necessary hormone and it's a survival thing. And the hormone rises anytime we feel fear or anxiety, and it naturally lowers when the stressful situation goes away. So, but it can take up to 72 hours for the levels to come back down. So, excuse me. For humans, we have a lot of tools to help us lower our cortisol levels, okay, and our stress levels. We have therapy, we have friends we can talk to, we have meditation, we have yoga, we can read books, whatever. We actually have control over our own selves and how we can lower our stress levels, right? And your dog does not. The only thing your dog can do is, you're the person who can help lower your dog's stress levels, right? You're the only one he's got to help do that. So he can't do it on his own, and he needs your help. If your dog is able to practice this behavior on a daily basis, it's not ever going to get any better, okay? So we're going to talk about some things that you can do to help your dog's lower your dog's stress levels. All right. I want you to start looking at your dog in a different way. I want you to start getting a better understanding what's going on in his head and how you can do it to affect this. I know it's a frustrating thing that you're dealing with, and I know you feel like you don't have any control over your dog, and you might think your dog is aggressive, but most likely it's just a fear-based behavior. Okay. Your job is to be as calm as possible. That's the first thing you want to do, is to take a deep breath before you take your dog out and just try to be as calm as you can. All right. Try not to get stressed at your dog for doing this behavior. This is a fear-based behavior. That's like if you were afraid of something and I started yelling at you because, you know, whatever. That's not how it works. If your dog is afraid of something, you want to help him feel better, right? And I know there's an old adage out there that says, you know, don't coddle your dog if he's afraid because it's going to make his fear worse. That is not true at all. And it doesn't make any sense if you think about it logically. Just like with a human, if you're afraid and you're very upset about something and someone's hugging you, it's going to make you feel better. Unless you really hate hugs. It's not going to make the stress worse, right? So the same thing with your dog. If your dog is stressed out and you want to talk to him, it's okay, don't worry, you know, and help him feel better through it and pet him and stuff like that. It's okay to do that. That is not, you are talking about emotions. It is not a cognitive behavior. He's not cognitively thinking, just like I was talking about with the spider earlier. He's not cognitively thinking, oh, I'm barking at this thing and now my person's petting me, so now that's reinforcing my bark, so I'm going to go back and bark again. That's not happening at all. It is not, his emotional brain's up here and his cognitive brain's down here, so he's not even able to think that way. Okay, so that's a big thing for you guys to remember, that this is emotional for your dog. It is not cognitive. He's not thinking about what he's doing. Okay, so let's see. Oh, I get to share the screen again. Ooh. Hold. Okay. All right. So a couple of things that you can do. One is if you're walking your dog on a regular collar right now, even a regular collar. And like I said earlier, if you're using a choke chain, prong collar, shot collar, any of those things, you want to stop them immediately because that's not going to make it any better. I prefer using a harness for your dog because even a tightened collar raises cortisol levels. Not to mention it's very harmful to many parts of your dog's body. So you want to make sure you're not, sorry, I have another. Okay.
I'm not letting him in because you told me not to let him in after.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
Remember?
Okay. So you want to, if you're not using a harness already, go ahead and get a harness for your dog because it's a better way to walk them. It's going to lower their stress levels a little bit. I recommend a front clip harness. I don't know if you can see where the leash is clipped on this dog right here is on the chest. And these are some of the front clip harnesses that we do recommend. Even if you use a regular harness, your dog's going to probably be pulling, but I'd rather use a regular harness than anything around his neck. Okay. So that's one easy thing you can do to help reduce your dog's stress levels. Okay. Another one is, does anybody's dogs bark out of their windows at other dogs and people and anything like that? Okay. So what I'm going to tell you, you're not going to like this, but it is going to change. It's a life changer. You've got to cover your windows or you've got to eliminate access to those windows. Okay. Because every time your dog does this, he's practicing this behavior and he's getting better and better at it. Okay. So if he sees somebody outside and they're walking by and he's barking and lunging at them, he is practicing this behavior. He's getting much better at being reactive. All right. And I know everybody, I used to have a miniature pinscher before I was a dog trainer. I had her afterwards too, but when I first got her, I was not a dog trainer. And my sofa was up against the window and we lived in a townhome community. So there was lots of people. And every day I'd leave work and I'd open up the shades and she'd sit on the back of the sofa and she'd just bark at everybody that went by. Right. And I thought, oh, she doesn't have anything else to do all day. This is something for her to do and she's having fun. I want you to look at your dog doing this. Is your dog really having fun? He is not. Your dog is stressed out, right? How many dogs are barking at the window and then the thing goes away and they go upstairs and they're barking at the other window, right? They're stressed out. Their cortisol levels are going off the roof right now because they're so stressed out. So, and the barking drives you crazy and you're yelling at your dog because he's barking out the window, right? So they sell, thank you, window film. Yay! We always forget this. They sell window film at Home Depot where the sunlight still comes in, but your dog can't see out. Okay. And I highly recommend this to anyone whose dogs bark out the window, or eliminate their access to the window by either shutting the door, putting a baby gate around it. Don't let them up, move your sofa away from, whatever you need to do. Eliminate that access to that window because that is a huge stressor for them. And that is one big thing you can do to eliminate that. Okay. Okay. So, and if your dog goes out in your backyard, same thing. If he's in your backyard and he's barking at people, you want to go get him and bring him in. And then if that means go put your shoes on, take the leash out, take a meatball with you, put him on leash and happily bring him back into the house. That's what you want to do because most likely you're going to call him from the deck. He's not coming in. Okay. And then you're going to get angry and then you don't want that happening, right? We want positive associations here. So if you have to do that, then you have to do that. And then one last thing, really important, you don't have to walk your dog so much. Okay. Every time you walk your dog, his cortisol's raised if he's reacting. So you want to give your dog a cortisol break and not walk your dog all the time. And there are a million things you can do inside of your house to tire your dog out. And I am going to have Fiona. Fiona is my enrichment coordinator, and she is all about everything you can possibly know about for enriching your dog and making your dog tired inside of your home so you don't have to walk them 5 times a day or whatever you're doing. Okay. So Fiona, you want to take it away?
Yes.
All right.
I just want to mention the study that we found.
And there's the thing for it up there too. Your slide. I'm sorry.
Oh, good. Thank you. Okay. Linda Cooper did a study on reactive dogs and exercise. And I mean, the bottom line is every time you take your dog out and he lunges and lunges and lunges, his cortisol levels never, ever go down. So she suggests tiring your dog out inside your home with enrichments. And then, of course, you have to let him out to go to the bathroom. But I have a border collie cattle dog mix that's high energy. And I started researching ways to tire him out in the house years ago during the winter when it was cold and icy out. And some of the things that you have the slide of the licky mat, right, Beth? You gonna bring that up?
Yes.
Okay.
Marty.
A licky mat, L-I-C-K-I.
L-I-C-K-I, I didn't know that's how you spelled it.
And this is wet dog food, yogurt, and peanut butter. And every morning he gets part of his breakfast on this licky mat. He gets his wet food on the licky mat. And after his morning walk, he gets some yogurt. Very spoiled. But this is a really, really great thing to use when you have company over, when your dog's really getting on your nerves. Oh, that was quick. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, you know what's on here? The Bobble-Lot is on here.
Him so cute.
The Bobble-Lot.
Hey, Bobble-Lot.
I'm going to talk about that next. This is
Okay.
a great food dispensing toy. You can adjust the level of difficulty and you can adjust the size of the kibble. And it's great. It's one of the tools he uses to get his breakfast and his dinner.
You can put a whole cup of or more of food in it. You can put his whole meal in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
The box, Beth. I knew we had the box.
There it is. There's the box.
Cardboard box, everybody. There's probably treats in that box, but sometimes I just put his dinner in the box. Get a bunch of paper and ball it up. Tons of paper. Or you can get some of the ball pit balls and put them in the box. And you can feed dinner. You can feed snacks. I don't use newsprint. That's Junior. I don't like newsprint. So Chewy has really thick paper, or you can buy moving paper at Home Depot. But since we're on licky mats, I'm going to show you. This is a This is a round licky mat that makes it a little more challenging for the dog. The licky mats come in all sizes. This is actually a silicone baking mat. So I don't know if any of you, I know that always happens, but this is a silicone baking mat that you can use. So.
Sorry, I'm having technical difficulties.
Oh, but you're doing good. You're doing great. Okay, this is one of my newest finds. It's made by Kong, and it's called a wishbone.
I need one of them for this puppy.
At first, I didn't know what to do with it. I'm like, what do I do with this? And oh my gosh, I take like a mozzarella cheese stick and I put it in there so deep. I put it on both sides, one stick, fill it on both sides. Or, oops, sorry about that. Or you can put anything you want in there, but usually I use dog treats and cheese. And it takes as long as it would take for a large frozen Kong for my dog to chew. So this is something I really, really like. But the Bobble-Lot is the bomb. I love this. It comes in small and large, and you use it with kibble. But you can make it easy for the dog, or you can make it more difficult. And it has an adjustment at the top that you can adjust. It's really good. And I tell people, never ever feed your dog food in a bowl. No, make your dog for everything. You feed him food in a bowl and it's gone in seconds. Instead, I mean, you really do want to tire your dog out. So give him one of the food dispensing toys. There's lots of them on the market. More on that later, but right now this is a really good one. And if your dog is afraid of it initially, because it might be, because it rolls around and makes a little noise. If your dog's not a resource guarder, suggest you just sit on the floor with your dog and just push it and let him see how easy his food comes out. If your dog is not getting it right away, it is okay to withhold your dog's breakfast. And in the evening, put his kibble in there, and he's going to be hungry and he's going to figure out how to use this. And even though it makes noise, it's fine on hardwood floors. It doesn't damage them at all. So, and like with any of these things, including the cardboard box and the licky mat and this, make sure your dog is safe with these things. Don't leave your dog alone with any of these enrichments unless you're sure your dog's going to be safe.
Because
So I
they
think
chew
that's
things.
it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so there are, oops, wait a minute. What did I do?
Oh, I just want to backtrack. I just want to say one thing.
Yes.
You know, besides these enrichments, you can tire your dog out. You can do a couple 10-minute training sessions a day.
Right.
You can go online to YouTube and find dog tricks.
Yeah.
Your dog tricks. You're mentally stimulating his mind, and that really tires your dog out.
Thank you. And Fiona has a video that we're in the makings that is all about enriching your dog. And if you are interested in that, you can email us at the end at beth@unleashjoy.com, and we'll give you that information at the end.
Yeah, or better yet, why don't you post it on your Facebook page?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Letter. Yeah, that would probably
Okay.
be.
And I'll send an email.
Yeah.
I'll be sending an email out too if some of you are on my email list.
It's coming out soon.
Because she just mentioned a couple of them. There are so many things you can do to tire your dog outside of the house. And that's just, she just really touched on it. All right. There's many, 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 many things. Okay. Thank you, Fiona. Appreciate it. All right. So let me see if I can't do some trigger. I mean, nope. Nope. Where did it go? Hold on. I'm looking for something. You guys just hold on a second. So I'm going to talk about some of the things that set your dog off, right? And trigger stacking. Trigger stacking is very important to think about. A lot of times people tell me my dog is not, let's see. Can you guys see this?
No.
No, it's not coming up. Hold on. Oh, here we go. Okay. Can you hear this puppy? He's dreaming. Sorry, that's so cute. Okay. Triggers are the things that may cause stress in your dogs. Okay. And your dogs are all different. Your dogs are good. Their triggers are, you know, we've got dogs, people, kids, people on bikes. You know, I named some of these earlier. That's a trigger, right? Trigger stacking is when your dog is exposed to triggers, you know, one trigger at a time. Each of these triggers raising cortisol levels. So at the end of, you know, 3 to 5 triggers, he can no longer take it anymore. And that's when he barks and lunges. So a lot of people tell me their dog doesn't always react when he goes outside. Sometimes he can pass some dogs, sometimes he can pass some people and it doesn't bother him, but every once in a while he sees something and he just goes crazy. And that's oftentimes because of trigger stacking. So for instance, say, you know, yesterday you had your niece over, right? And then maybe the day before you had somebody come replace your refrigerator. And then this morning, you know, the mailman came and then you took your dog for a walk and you saw one dog and he was probably okay with that one. And then you saw another dog and well, maybe that dog was what triggered him. Maybe that dog was like, it's like the straw that broke the camel's back. It was the last thing. He couldn't take it anymore. So that's why he lunged and barked at it. So that's oftentimes. So, excuse me. So make sure I will tell people to keep a journal of your dog's behavior, right? So keep a journal, like say Monday, you know, yesterday we had a party, you know, write that down. So Monday we took him out for a walk and he reacted to the small brown dog down the street. And it was, you know, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. There was nothing else going on. Just, you know, start writing this stuff down so you can have an idea of what's going on with your dog, what's triggering him, what's the stressors, what's happening. So you can try to help eliminate some of these things. All right. And in writing them down, you'll get, you know, sort of a story of, oh, hey, wait a minute, maybe it is the little brown dog down the street. That's, you know, that's the problem. So keep an eye on that. That's very pertinent to this. All right. So here we go. All right. So there are threshold limits that your dog has. Okay. This is not the correct one. This thing's moving too fast for me. Okay. 3 threshold variables that you want to consider with reactivity. One is the distance that your dog's away from another dog. And that is that's usually one of the easiest things for us to determine. Another one is the intensity of the trigger. Is the dog staring at your dog? Is the dog barking at your dog, right? Things like that. How intense is the trigger? Is it just walking by? You know, that's got a lot to do with it. How long is the trigger there? So I don't know if this happens to you, but I've heard so many stories about how, you know, you're walking your dog and then you see somebody coming and if they would have walked past, your dog might have been okay, but they come by and they stop. And then your dog starts barking at them and they just stand there. Happens sometimes. So usually I just say, move along, my dog's reactive. You have to advocate for your dog and make sure you tell people that. But the duration of time that the trigger is there might be one of the problems, right? So this is what I'm talking about. You want to, when you're keeping your, you know, your little diary of your dog's behavior, think about this. You know, when I walked past that brown dog, he was looking, he was staring, because dogs don't stare at each other unless it's something bad's going to happen. Okay. They don't like eye contact. So keep an eye on that. Is the other dog looking at my dog? Is the other dog, you know, barking at my dog? You know, they are variables to consider. Is the dog just standing there? You know, is the dog inside of a fence that we have to walk by? So the whole length of the fence, that's the length of time that your dog has to see that other dog. These things are very important things to know, because once you know these things, you can affect the thresholds, right? You can say, oh, I need to be at least 20 feet away from other dogs because that's my dog's threshold distance. Oh, I need to make sure my dog's looking at me if a dog comes by so there's no eye contact. I have to make sure that if somebody stands there, I either have to run by them or tell them to move along. So you know that these are different things that you have to deal with. Okay. Let's see. All righty. And then I hope all this it's so weird doing Zoom because I can't see anybody's reactions. Okay. So this is a reactivity chart. And I do have to say that all of these are drawn by a woman named Lily Chin, who does wonderful things for positive dog training. She does these adorable little charts and stuff like that. So we appreciate that. All right, so rising stress levels. Here you can see the green part under threshold, right? This is when you walk out the door. Your dog's probably still looking around if he's, you know, reactive and stressed. But most likely he's loose, he's responsive, you know, all of that. And then you start walking. And then maybe he sees something and he's like, what's this, right? You see he's straight up and down. Getting to know your dog's body language is extremely important in this. And I recommend going on YouTube and looking at body language videos, because you'll know, because you see the body language in all these little pictures, right? He's a little more relaxed there, but then he's stiff. Right? Stiff body posture, tail back, ears up, what's going on? He starts getting in the yellow at this point, right? He starts getting stressed at this point because he sees a dog coming. Okay, so then the dog gets closer. What happens? His head starts going over top of his chest and his front legs. That body posture is something you want to watch for, right? You see how everything's gone forward now? That's something you want to watch for, that intense staring. The hackles are raised, the tail's raised. Important to know, a wagging tail does not mean that your dog is happy, okay? If your dog's tail is wagging, it is completely, don't take that. That is a completely thing you need to take in context. It's a different wag for different things. So don't just think, oh, my dog's tail is wagging. I'm actually doing another webinar about things we think about dogs that aren't true. And that's one of the things. And that I'm sending information out on that. But anyway, so you want to keep an eye on your dog's body language. Low growl, he may no longer be responsive to you, and he may no longer be taking treats. So watch that. Once that starts happening, he is about to go over threshold. And over threshold means that's when he's starting to do these behaviors where he's barking and growling and snapping and lunging and doing all of the crazy stuff that he's doing, right? He is over threshold once he's doing that. If you get any further than that and he feels like he has to escalate his behavior, it could become a threat, a bite. So you want to be really careful about these things. Our goal is to keep our dog under threshold, okay? And to keep him down here in the green, right? Where you can work on him using counter conditioning and desensitization is down there in the green and in the yellow. This is where counter conditioning and desensitization is going to work. Once you start getting into the orange there and he starts going over threshold, you may be able to bring him back, but if you can't, then you need to run away from the situation and get him out of it. You have to create more space between you, okay? Okay, so let's see. So counter conditioning and desensitization. Here you go, classic counter conditioning. Everybody knows Pavlov, right? All right, so what happens is your dog sees the trigger, starts to bark and growl. Then you give them a high value treat at the same time, and you start to change their emotions from a negative emotion to a positive emotion, okay? You pair the scary thing, the trigger, with the meatball, right? So when he sees the scary thing, the meatball happens. The scary thing, the meatball happens. The scary thing starts to predict the meatball, right? So when the scary thing starts to predict the meatball, what happens is your dog starts looking at the scary thing and looking back at you like, hey, where's my meatball, right? And when he does that, that's called a CER, or a conditioned emotional response. Once you start getting a conditional emotional response from your dog, you know your dog's emotions are starting to change, because he's no longer looking at the dog like, ah, he's now looking at the dog saying, hey, there's a dog, where's my meatball, right? And this is how you start to change your dog's emotions, by doing classical counter conditioning. So right here, during it, the trigger happens, the treat happens at the same time, and then his emotions start to change, okay? This isn't something that happens overnight. This is something that's a process, and it depends on, there is no time limit or time that I can tell you how long it takes. It's completely dependent on your dog and your dog's extent of his behavior, and how, you know, there's no time that I could tell you. I've seen dogs get much better in 6 months, and I've seen dogs that get much better, but not necessarily completely better. Yes, Fiona?
I want to add something. It also depends on the human.
Absolutely.
So you have to make sure the treat is high enough value that
Yep.
you're able to access it right away, and
Yep.
that you're able to deliver it in a timely manner.
Yeah. And I recommend, I mean, this little thing is really cute and you're listening to me and everything, but I wouldn't recommend like, oh, I'm going to go out now and do some classical counter conditioning with my dog. I recommend hiring a good, certified, positive dog trainer to help you do this and show you how to do it. Okay. That is the best way to do this. If you don't work on this behavior, it's going to get worse. It just snowballs and snowballs, because like I said, the more they do the behavior, the better they get at it. And it's only going to get worse and worse and worse, unfortunately. So you want to make, there's a couple of other protocols that you can use. I prefer the counter conditioning because I feel like it's much easier for humans to do. You humans, like we're not human, regular people that aren't dog trainers, to do. It's much easier than the other protocols. So that's why I prefer it. There are a couple of other things out there though. Okay, so let's see, we're almost done. This was a fast one. So let me ask you this. What would you do if somebody comes and pets your dog. If they say, my dog's friendly, can I bring my dog up to you? What I want you to do, and I have so many clients that feel that they have to let their dog go up to other dogs when they're walking them. I never let my dog go up to other dogs, ever, because they don't need to. Your dog does not, if your dog's reactive to other dogs on leash, he does not need to go up to other dogs on leash, all right? And I do not recommend letting puppies do it all the time, because what happens is you can create reactivity through, sometimes you let your dog go up, and if you don't, he's going to be upset, he's going to bark and lunge, then you're going to get mad at him and you're going to get angry, and then your reaction by getting angry with him is going to make this behavior snowball. So if you say your dog's lunging and barking and you're like, stop it, no, and you pulling on his leash and everything and you're yelling at him, you're creating that negative association with the other dog, right? And you want to make sure you're not doing that, because again, it's a fear-based behavior. You want to make him feel better through the whole thing, and you want to make sure you're not doing that. All right. You want to have realistic expectations. This is not something that's going to go away tomorrow, but if you get started on it, it can get much, much better. It may never go away completely, and you have to have realistic expectations of that, but you can make it so much better. I've had clients whose dogs are, they're reactive to cars and people and children and dogs and everything. And, what I usually do is I start with the easy ones. Let's get cars out of the way. Let's work C and D to the cars. Cars are done. Then you're not reactive to that anymore. And then you do the next thing and then the next thing. I find that dogs and people are usually the hardest ones because you see them so much more often. But you want to really have realistic expectations. Don't be hard on your dog. He can't help this. This is hard for him. This is very hard for him or her. They don't want to be doing this behavior. They cannot control this behavior. It's not something they're doing on purpose. And please remember that when you're walking them, because otherwise you're just going to make this behavior worse by getting upset about it. Okay. Because when you get upset about it, they're like, oh man, there must be something wrong with these dogs coming at me because my human is becoming upset with me. So remember that. Okay.
And I'd like to add something here, Beth, if you don't mind. That, I have a herding dog that was reactive to joggers, bikes, cars, you name it, and then other dogs. And I remember the first time, I think Beth worked with me, the first time that I got an emotional response from him, the first time he saw the scary thing and looked at me, I almost started crying. I was like, oh my gosh, my dog's getting it. So now what happens, because a lot of people say, do I have to treat my dog all the time and every single time? So now we've been working on this for so many years. He sees a car or another dog. I don't have to give him a treat every single time. Sometimes I just do it random, because a lot of people are concerned about giving a lot of treats. So when you're first starting this protocol, if you're giving a lot of treats, that's fine. You can just cut back on his dinner and on his breakfast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because we do that a lot. And then also in our class, our 5-week, 6-week class, mm-hmm. we have seen dogs get it towards the end of the class. Oh, yeah. We have seen them look at their owners. It's really awesome.
It is. I mean, we have one dog right now who is one of our neutral dogs, who is the dog that kind of hangs out where all the other dogs look at him, who started out hundreds so far away he couldn't even see the other dogs. It took him 6 months to get from that point, and she did a lot of work with him outside of the class and everything. It took him 6 months to get from that point to the point of being able to be our neutral dog, and he's not reactive when she walks him anymore. And it's just because of doing counter conditioning and desensitization. It's really, really an amazing protocol. I feel like there were other things I wanted to say, but I don't remember. Does anybody have any questions?
Wait a minute, Jolly Talk.
Yes.
Actually, did you go through all the tools?
I didn't go through the management. I didn't go through management. I'm so sorry.
That's important.
All right. Thank you. I have Fiona to keep me on track of things. All right. So management tools. I'm going to tell you some management tools you can use. And some of these you might already be using. And what management is, and I don't get confused. Management is you managing the behavior so it's not happening. as much as you possibly can. It is not getting rid of the behavior, because a lot of people think, oh, they'll do watch me and that's going to make the behavior better. What that does, it's you're avoiding it from happening, and we want that to happen, but it's not changing your dog's emotions. So just remember that any of these things I'm telling you right now are only to manage your dog's behavior, to try to make sure that the behavior is not happening as much and lower his cortisol levels. Does that make sense? Okay, so and these things usually you really can only do them if, say, you're walking your dog and you see somebody coming down the street towards you, and maybe your dog doesn't see them yet, or your dog's so far away from them they don't care too much. You're going to turn your dog towards you. You're going to pull yourself away from the sidewalk or whatever. Go up into people's driveways if you need to. Go behind trees if you need to. You're going to have your dog go behind a bush. Yeah, jump behind a bush. You're going to have your dog facing you. Okay, and your dog's going to face you, and you're going to do these management techniques this way. One of them is watch me, where you're going to say, watch me, yes, and give him a treat. Does anybody do this? Or look at me, any of that stuff? Okay, so that's something you can do, because what you're doing when you do that, these management tools, what you're doing is you're getting his attention on you instead of the other dog, for one, and you're working on cognitive stuff. So you're working on trying to get that cognitive brain up a little bit before the emotional brain comes up. All right. So there's a couple of things you're doing with it. So watch me is a good one. Another one is find it, where you're just standing there and you're dropping treats on the floor and you're going, find it, find it, find it. So your dog's just sniffing around trying to find these treats. Right. Another one is touch. If your dog does hand targeting, you can work with that. Touch, hand targeting. And another one, a huge management tool that we use all of the time is Jolly Talk. And what Jolly Talk is, I thought we had a screenshot for this. We don't. We got a piece of paper. All right. Jolly Talk is talking to your dog. They've done studies that show that high-pitched, happy, fast sounds get your dog's attention more than anything. So I can often, when I'm walking a reactive dog and he kind of sees something, I can often look at him and say, who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Look at this good baby. And talk to him like that. And the dog's like, what? I know, right? Aren't I a good boy? Yes, I am. And then the dog's walking by and he doesn't even notice that the dog's there. Okay. So that is a huge thing you can try with your dog. Depending on your dog's, the level, the intensity of his reactivity, and whether, he has already seen the dog and things like that, you have to kind of gauge using these things. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say that is a technique it's a behavior modification technique that was developed by a dog trainer named William Campbell. And the goal of it is to change the dog's emotional response. Yep. And we teach that in our class. Mm-hmm. And
we make you do it.
We make you do it. And a lot of times men seem to have more of a problem with it than women, but it really works. And if you can't think of, like, we say things like, who's a little stinky bug? Come a stinky bug. And if you can't think of anything to say when you're out, just sing happy birthday to your dog. And if you keep on
any ridiculous song,
yeah, you feel silly. Your dog thinks it's his birthday, and it really decreases your stress level as well. Yep. And just one other thing that I want to say about the meatballs, is that a lot of times people, when we say meatball, we mean a little frozen meatball that will have about 30 treats in it.
Yes.
Because
I'm not going to give them a whole meatball every time.
No, we've been in class before where humans just give a whole meatball.
Don't do that.
No, don't do that.
Yep.
But Jolly Talk is, oh my gosh, it's so effective.
Very effective.
Yes. Yep. And Beth's really good at it.
And one thing I want to say about these things is you want to practice these things inside of your home first. Okay. You want to practice, you want to work, you want to do watch me in your house. You want to do Jolly Talk in your house. You want to do find it in your house, touch, whatever you're doing. And then when you're on walks, you just want to every once in a while do them, because you don't want any of these management things to predict a dog. If you only did them when there was a dog coming, your dog might eventually realize, oh, wait a minute, we're doing this thing, there's a dog, and he might be stressed out when you're doing them. So if you do them, just randomly while there's no dog coming, it will not your dog, it won't feel like your dog is predicting anything. Okay, so make sure you're practicing that and other stuff. All right, and another thing I also recommend is tie a knot in your dog's leash, you know, about a foot or so away from his face, so you can get to his face quickly without having to yank on him. You can sort of just walk yourself up his leash and get him a treat to his face pretty quickly. And please, if you are interested in doing this, counter conditioning and desensitization, or CAT or BAT, which I'm not even going to go into, but you can look that up one, or you can email me if you want, and I'll give you more information. If you're interested in doing any of these things, please hire a good trainer or go to a class in your area. You know, I don't know where you live. If you are out of Maryland, you can shoot me an email and I can find a good trainer for you. But you don't want to do this on your own, because if you don't do it correctly, it might not be helping your dog at all. So you want to make sure you hire a trainer to at least show you a few times how to do this. If you can get yourself into a class, it's awesome, because classes are setups where you are in a safe environment that is, you know, orchestrated by professionals in a way that, you know, your dogs are not going to react. I often have people say, how's my dog going to get into a class with 10 other dogs if they're reactive? Because it's in a huge parking lot. We tell you where to park. We park everybody distance away from each other. We get you out. We tell you where to go, and we set it up to where nobody reacts to anything. All right. And most classes are like that. So if you want any recommendations for classes in the area or in other areas, please let me know. Okay. Anything else, Fiona? Did I miss anything?
Well, except if you go to yourdogsfriend.org, there is
Yes.
a list of positive trainers in the area.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
and
Or
there's also a lot of handouts on Your Dog's Friend too.
And the Pet Professional Guild is a website that also has trainers all over the world that they can recommend as well. And if you don't remember any of that, actually, can I type it in? No, because I turned that off.
No, don't even try, because
Not doing it. Not doing it. One of our Zoom webinars was hijacked the first time we did this, and it was horrible.
Oh, it was terrible.
There was a naked man on a sofa. It was not fun. So now we do not do chat. We don't do any of that stuff.
Anything. So Beth, when people ask questions, why don't you have them raise their hand? Is that good?
For real?
Under reactions, no.
Okay.
This one here, like
Okay.
Robin just did.
Okay. Does everybody know how to do that? Try to figure it out. It's on the bottom of your screen. It says reactions, and there's a little hand, clapping hand, and there's a thumbs up hand. Whatever one.
Yeah.
I don't care. Is that right? All right.
Oh gosh, we have all different kind of hands. Okay.
So we've got some hands. We got some hands. All right. But if we look over to the right, we can see the hands. Okay, Robin.
Hi. I have so many questions. I could keep you going for 30 minutes.
Give me one question at a time.
Okay. My dog is 5 years old. He was great until 16 months when he was attacked, when he had to stay at the ER vet. So I wasn't even there.
Ugh.
And he got more and more reactive. He was well socialized. He wasn't scared of anything.
Yeah.
Now he is an absolute terror to walk. And I need a knee replacement, so I haven't been walking him very much.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing is he came to me with coccidia.
Mm-hmm.
We got past that, but every treat I tried to use training him made him throw up.
Okay.
So he's been trained for 5 years on kibble.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's probably
luckily he's super food motivated,
right.
but not.
Can he eat chicken? Has he tried chicken?
Oh,
Nothing.
we've tried everything.
Salmon, fish, everything.
Well, and now he
Lamb.
has inflammatory bowel, and we had to tried 4 different foods and steroids.
Yeah,
and currently
that's tough.
he's in remission, and the specialty vet is like, no, don't add treats yet. No, don't add treats yet.
Okay. So
And-
this is a situation where either CAT or BAT might work. They're two different protocols that.
I should tell you, we've done all those. I've had.
You have.
Oh yeah, we've done.
Where are you located?
Tallahassee, Florida. I've had several different trainers in the 3 years since he was attacked.
Right.
And for what, he's much better, but he's not the least bit predictable.
Have you stuck
And-
with the training? Because
Well,
I know
I did.
sometimes it's hard.
I also had surgery this fall where I couldn't
Right.
pull or lift for 3 months.
Yeah.
But the good thing is my pet sitter had started a daycare group.
Oh, good.
And he has been going for a year and a half, twice a week, and he is now able to play with 9 or 10 dogs off leash.
Good.
And
Good.
in the last 6 months, he initiates play, not
Awesome.
just facing them around.
Good.
But I'm
Good.
stumped. And I'll be honest, there is a new trainer in town she's been here about a year, who everybody loves, and she's a balance trainer. I've
Don't do
always
it.
done positive.
Don't do it.
And
Balanced
know-
means I'm going to put a choke chain on your dog or
No,
prong collar.
we talked, and she said the first 6 weeks would be all positive, and then she'd start,
And then we'll
No.
torture them.
she said if I didn't want any of those aversives, she would not use them.
Anyone that uses a dog trainer that uses aversive techniques like that does not understand how a dog learns. And I would not go with a dog trainer that uses any aversive techniques.
Oh, I know. I'm
I'm telling you. Ah!
fortunately.
But I would also look into doing some enrichment things with him inside of the house so you don't have to walk him as much, especially since you're
from rolling balls. We have toys. Where I hide things in
Good.
5 different rooms.
good.
We do really everything you mentioned, not as consistently,
Okay.
but we do. And I'm just stumped.
Well, we can talk about it later if you want. If you want to shoot me an email, we can go a little more in detail with it so I can let other people have some questions.
Thank you.
All righty. Mavis, thank you. Hi.
So my question is around trigger. Is physical and mental exercise, so when a dog is fatigued, is that better for reaction to triggers?
Depends on the dog. It really
Well,
does.
I guess where I'm coming from is
repeat the question?
when so maybe I'll talk about my dog. When I had my dog stay over at a friend's a couple of years ago, the friend and my dog is reactive to a number of things. So this person said when she had long walks, she was a better dog. So I was wondering if physical exercise or mental exercise is better and reduces her, her trigger response.
Honestly, it does depend on the dog because I've seen dogs that, you can walk 10 miles a day and do all kinds of stuff with them and they're still reactive. So it really does depend on your dog. That's like the study where they're saying, what's the study that you were talking about, Fiona?
I don't know, but can the
Let's see.
person's dogs are barking?
Yeah, somebody's dog's barking. Do you mind muting?
It looks like Miss Lisa. Are you able to mute them?
Sorry, didn't realize I was unmuted.
That's thanks.
Oh my God.
Thanks. So here's, can you see this, everyone? So the study of this sometimes, I guess that's just because you're walking them and raising their cortisol levels. So never mind. But yeah, I've seen many dogs that if they are over exercised, it almost makes it worse for them. So it really just depends. You can try it and see if it works for your dog, and if it does, it does. So sorry.
No, that's okay. Thank you.
All right. Alrighty. Naomi. Hi.
Hi, thank
Hi.
you. This was great.
Good.
I have lots of questions too, but I've tried to whittle it down to one. So our dog's name is Fenton or Fen, and we don't walk her every day for that, trying to give her a cortisol break. I do, or one of my husband or I, we do play with her several times a day. And one of her favorite games is Keep Away.
Okay.
But sometimes I feel like it's raising her stress level
Mhm.
you know, by chasing her. And even though she loves being chased, I
Yep.
can see that she's like kind of scared, but kind of liking it. And
Yep.
so I'm thinking maybe don't do that or do it in a different way. And we do like, you know, enhancements and other cognitive stuff and training.
Sure. I'm
But-
so glad you brought that up.
She loves like the
Because-
best exercise, but yeah, so please.
Even good stress can raise cortisol levels.
Yeah.
So yes, even if you feel like she might be having fun, but she's kind of, you know, not sure and you're not sure, I would probably stop doing it
Okay.
and teach her drop it and work, you know, if you train drop it with her, she's going to have fun doing that too, because you're giving her treats, you know,
Okay.
but I would probably, if you feel like it might be stressing her out, I would probably not do it.
So like try to get her better at fetch so she runs to get the ball.
Yeah. So does she know drop it?
Kind of.
Okay. So
Probably get better at that.
yeah. So kind of means you need to practice a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Drop it.
Okay, so practice drop it. That way she'll bring the ball back. You say drop it, you give her a treat, or you give her another ball, throw another ball,
Okay.
you know, and that'll help with that instead of yeah, that does it, because it creates almost a form of resource guarding, and you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. And Margaret Olson.
Yes, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks. My dog was with an aversive trainer, and I'm switched to the positive side and
Good.
in learning mode.
Good.
One of the last things I'm letting go of, before you yell at me, let me finish, is the prong collar.
Okay.
Part of it, he's an 85-pound German Shepherd. He's 3. And so when he does very well with walk with me on the walks, but when he reacts, of course, he lunges. And I fear without the prong collar, I'll fall flat on my butt, because he has pulled me off my balance before.
Sure.
But when I saw your harnesses, I think the light bulb went off that by having it hooked in the front, if he does lunge, it would swing him around so that he wouldn't be pulling me off onto my.
And that is true. And I think that would be helpful. But at the same time, like I would, do you have a backyard?
Yes, very big backyard.
So what I would do instead of walking him right now is take him in the backyard, throw a ball for him, get him lots of exercise,
we
do
play
lots
frisbee.
of stuff inside of the house to make him tired, and really, and hire a trainer. And you say you already have a trainer?
Well, I've left that trainer. I'm trainer-less. So
where are you located?
In Howard County, Maryland.
Then get on our class. It's perfect for you. We do it in Columbia.
Okay. Do you recommend, you had that list of harnesses. Do you recommend one for German Shepherd?
Not anyone in particular.
Okay.
Do you want to see the list again?
That'd be great. Yes, please.
And maybe take a picture of it with your phone.
Yeah, you can take a picture. Yep,
That's
there you
a great
go.
idea. Right,
Yep.
hold on.
Yeah, it's really a trial and error. I like the balance harness.
Okay.
I think that picture might be the balance harness. I can't tell. But be careful when you do, like some of them, like the Easy Walk, it's made in, I don't like it as much because it's made in the way where it kind of goes across their chest.
Okay.
And it does impede some walking, but these are a little bit better because it doesn't do that.
Okay. And a question regarding your reactive dog classes you were talking about. I'm working with a behavioral therapist, and one of the things that she's afraid of is such classes would put the dog around. I want to get him around dogs so we reduce the reactivity, but I understand we've been staying away from dogs because we don't want him to have that behavioral spike. But what you were saying is the class is set up so that we're far enough away that we're in the safe zone to begin with.
Yep. And oftentimes the first or second, actually the first class is on Zoom because it's orientation. So we don't do it with dogs. But the first time or two, oftentimes, if we have dogs that are really, really stressed out, we go through all kinds we don't even expose them to other dogs yet. We just work on calming behavior and do things with them to help them just be calm in the place that they're in. Right.
And you're okay with clients working with behavioral therapists?
Who are you working
with? Dr. Reich in Silver Spring.
Thrush?
Reich, R-E-I-C-H.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Have you already worked with her, or are you just starting?
We got our dog on medication, so he's
Okay.
on Prozac.
Okay.
Slowly raising
All right.
it up, and it's helped him wonders. And also,
Good.
she's worked with us on some calming behaviors and
Good.
helping him get under threshold. But I feel like I
think
need.
it's odd that she would not recommend a reactive dog class. That's the only thing.
Gotcha.
But because most of them are really, you're not going to just throwing dogs into a room and having them be reactive. It's most of them are really well orchestrated, so it doesn't happen. I usually refer Amy Pike or Leslie Sin in the area, but I don't really know much about Dr. Reich, so I can't really say. Also, honestly, if you feel like your dog needs medication, because some dogs do need medication for this, talk to a veterinarian behaviorist, not necessarily your veterinarian, because lots of veterinarians do not know about dog behavior. All right, unless you know yours does, and you feel like they might need medication, talk to a veterinarian behaviorist. And I can recommend some of them for you.
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah,
ask, do you
I'd
have
like
any
to-
recommendations in the area? Because our vet was like, well, we could try Prozac, but I don't know.
I find that usually the first thing any of them put your dog on is Prozac, but I'm not a vet, so I would definitely take them to a veterinarian behaviorist first.
And I just want to add, initially, I was reluctant to put my dog on medication. And I feel so ashamed that I didn't do that, because he was stressed on walks. I was stressed on walks. I did take him to a veterinarian behaviorist, and she said, oh, we need to put him on Prozac. So it's made a difference for him, and it's going to increase his lifespan because he's not continuously stressed.
Yeah.
And the question about, I guess, that Anne Margaret had, the class is outdoors, so it can get cold and hot, but it's in a double huge business parking lot. And we have had some dogs that were just so reactive that they either had to stand behind their car or they were over the hill. They didn't even make it up the hill yet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all the dogs are different and they all progress differently.
Yeah. And we work individually with them in class to try to help you work with what's going on with them. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say if you're thinking about it, I'll get the harness on now and get them used to the harness.
Yep. Okay. Erica Chopas.
Hi, thanks
How are
for
you?
all your information. Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you, but I can hear you. Yep.
Oh no. Can't hear you.
You can't? You hear me?
Oh, there you are. Okay. So
Okay.
I had my headphones on. I think that was making it weird. Thanks so much for all this information. It's been so helpful.
Good.
I guess my question is, we're very interested in doing your class, but
Okay.
how often is it held? Because I'm not sure we would make the first session. I think it's in January, like in a couple weeks. How often are you doing it if you're unable to make like the first session, let's say?
Sure. So like I said, the first session, it does start on the 23rd, and it is a Zoom session, so it can be recorded. And some of it is what we're talking about right now, but there's other things that actually pertain to the class than coming to the first class. So that can be recorded and sent to you. So that wouldn't be a problem. And then it's 5 consecutive weeks after that. It's Saturday mornings at 10.
Okay.
In
And
Columbia, Maryland.
Okay. And kind of a part 2 to that. I mean, I think my dog is more reactive out of like excitement. So he gets frustrated that he can't. Is that also still a good fit for that type of class? Okay.
We work on that in the same way.
Okay.
Yep. And we help you work on some impulse control stuff with that as well.
Okay. All right. Great. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Robin? No? Robin? Nope.
Yes, I had muted.
Hi.
My question, there are no veterinarian behaviorists within 400 miles of me in Tallahassee. Do you know anyone who will do phone or virtual visits?
Yes.
Good.
Does Amy Pike do virtual?
Yes. It's
Good.
COVID. I mean, everyone around here, now because of COVID, so now's the time.
Yeah, good.
Amy Pike.
There's a wonderful one in South Florida, but she will only do vet visits. And while I love my vet, she does not know my dog like I do.
Gotcha.
She doesn't walk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Amy, if that doesn't work out, is there anybody else you recommend?
Yeah, Leslie Sin, Sinn.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, because he is on Prozac, and it helped at first. I don't know if it does now, but I need a behaviorist. I know I do,
Yeah.
but it's
Yep.
just too far
And
to
having
go.
working with a behaviorist and a trainer at the same time is a really good idea.
Yeah, if you have any trainer recommendations in the Tallahassee area, I know a lot of them.
All right. Well, email me and I can look for you.
Thank you.
Sure. All right, Nikunj. Did I say that right?
Yes, yes, you did.
I did. Woohoo! Hi.
Hi. So we have a 2.5-year-old Labradoodle,
Mhm.
extremely friendly, extremely gentle, otherwise.
Right.
But I think, and he was walking perfectly before this COVID hit, and I think we are all home too much for him now.
Right.
That when we, like when my husband and I go on a walk, recently we have seen that sometimes he gets too reactive to
Mhm.
other dogs or other people. He doesn't
Mhm.
like delivery trucks at all.
Okay.
I don't know what happened to him with that, but he just doesn't like them at all. And he's very gentle with kids, but he gets too excited. So
Mhm.
I mean, from whatever everybody asked questions and whatever you said, I think it's a borderline thing where we think maybe he's just excited, but
Right.
I don't know. I'm not 100% sure because I don't know how to read dogs that well.
Right.
We don't have that experience. But my only concern is that this wasn't a behavior before. We have walked him almost every single
Mhm.
day for about 2 miles since we got him.
Mhm.
So it's not that this was something that happened in his like previous years or something. Nothing. This was.
How old was he when it started?
It started like in the past 6-7 months since we have been home.
So he's how old?
He's 2.5 years old. So I think like just
About a
before
year
we
and a
turned
half?
2. Yeah, 1.5 to 2, I think.
It could be a fear period that he had gone to, and then when he reacts, what do you do?
So earlier we didn't realize what was happening, to be very
Mhm.
frank, because we
Sure.
thought that, oh, he just doesn't like that person or something. But then, so he is good with other dogs if we go to a dog park.
Sure.
If he's
'Cause he's
not
off
on the
leash.
leash, yeah, he loves to be with other dogs off leash. He loves to run. He loves to play with them. He has certain dogs in our neighborhood where he plays with them and he's perfectly fine with it.
Right.
It's just when he's on leash.
Sure. And a lot of times, it might just start because he's excited or something. And oftentimes, I mean, if you walked him all the time by yourself and then suddenly your husband joined in or vice versa, like who's walking them is a variable. It's a lot of different. Did you move? Do you know what I mean? Were there any kind of stressors going on in your life? There's a lot of different things to take into consideration.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So do you think your class would still help?
Oh yeah,
for him, or would I need some different other type of a class that you have? Is what my more question was, because
I would say that would be a good class for him.
Okay, because that's the thing. Like when we used to walk, he never liked those white delivery trucks kind of a thing, and I understand people are afraid of them too. So that was only one trigger that he had all the time, and he was afraid of them since he was a puppy. But now it's sometimes when people are walking a little bit far, he wants to bark at them.
Okay.
Like sometimes he looks at other dogs, and if it's his friends, he plays with them. But if it's a dog that we don't know, he'll bark. But I don't know what he wants to do with them. Like,
I mean, are you in Maryland?
Yeah, we live in Sykesville.
Okay, so another option is private consultation, maybe even one to just make sure it's okay. I mean, the class.
So should we email you?
Yeah, just shoot me an email. Yeah.
Okay, I will do that. Thank you so much for this session, though. It was good to know.
You're not alone either. Look at all the other people. Yep. Good. I'm glad you came. Thank you.
Yeah, because we see all these other dogs in the neighborhood walking, and I was like, they're walking straight. Why can't you walk straight?
They'll have a reactive dog one day. Don't you worry. It'll happen. Thank you.
So I'll email you. Thank you.
Great. Thanks. Okay, Mavis. Hi.
Hi. Thanks for taking my second question.
Sure.
So among the enrichment ideas you shared, do you have any that would work better for a dog that eats raw food? I mean, she gets treats, I guess dehydrated raw food, but if there's something that you haven't shared that works for raw food?
Probably the licky mats would work. The wishbone would work, right?
Kong,
Fiona?
or yeah,
Kong.
yeah, Kongs.
Yeah.
But some of the raw food comes coated. I mean, is it only wet food that you feed your dog?
Yeah. She
Just raw.
wet.
Okay. Yeah. So the wishbone, Kongs, the licky mat. Let me pull out my list. Let me pull out my list right here. Let me see. The green feeder. Look at the green feeder by Northmate. That's a possibility. It's a bit pricey, but look at the green feeder by Northmate. So we don't want to give her a licky mat, right, Beth?
No, a licky mat. You mean a snuffle mat?
A snuffle mat.
Don't use a snuffle mat.
Okay.
Gross.
Is it like wet food, like wet dog food, or is it like chicken necks and stuff you're giving the dog?
No, she eats wet dog food, so it's ground.
Okay, it's like raw. It's raw.
animal.
You can buy. It's not raw like you just cut up a chicken and gave it to
It's
her.
like
Okay.
Answers on Jenny's.
Stella and Choi's or something.
Okay. I have a really new one I really like, and I'm going to try to bring up my presentation if I can.
Sure.
It's called a Topple, TOPPL.
I don't think you'll be able to.
I have one downstairs. I could run and get it, but it's open, and I put like green beans in the bottom for my dog, and I put his wet food on top, and I freeze it. So my dog is older now, so he doesn't want to chew the black Kongs, the frozen black. He's lazy. So the Topple is open.
You can also email me, and I can send you information. I can actually also send you Fiona's email. So
okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks
Send
a lot.
my email.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Does anybody else have any questions?
I do. Me too.
Okay, Patty. Patty? I don't see Patty.
Hello.
Hi. Oh, there you are. Hi, Patty. Hi.
Hi. Thank you for. I've been listening to all your to the seminar and everything. It's very helpful for us.
Good.
Actually,
Good.
I have a miniature poodle.
Okay.
He is a year and a half. Very excited dog. He's very hyper. I have 2 kids, and he loves playing with them. But he feel in this condition like when he was puppy he was fine. As he's been growing up, he's been he doesn't like people when he goes out. He likes people. It's just bikers and other dogs. And we walk him every day, once or twice a day.
Right.
And we do a lot of play in the house now that with the quarantine. So we've been doing a lot of stuff. And lastly, he beat my daughter on his lip playing.
Okay.
She had 3 stitches. That was for years.
Okay.
And so we never trained him till now. I just did myself through YouTube videos and stuff until I found you on Facebook, a friend of mine. So this is our first seminar that we attend, and I would like a recommendation of a good trainer in my area. I live in Bel Air, Hartford.
Okay.
So
send me an email and I can give you one.
Okay.
Give you a good trainer out there.
Yes, because I think that's what he needs. He's very playful.
Right.
And but he needs to control himself. But I don't know if maybe it's us. We train him his behavior.
A lot of times it is the person. I mean, it's not just the dog. He the dog's, he doesn't know what he's doing. He needs your guidance to show him how to live in your world, So having a good trainer, like helping you work with him and helping you show him what it is that you want him to do and things like that is a good idea. I think that's the best thing for you to do, is to get a trainer. And
Yeah.
make sure your daughter don't put your face in your dog's face.
I know. I know they were playing and all of a sudden, boom. So did you recommend one of these? We try this one, like if we go out, I give him one before we go out. And
Calming treats. It can't hurt him.
Yeah, I try and see.
But I don't think that's what's gonna calm him down.
This one is the CBD oil. We got it at the Bath and
Right.
Either, so
Does it not do anything? Yeah, I mean, it's like I always say, if you feel like you want to try it. If not, hi. Oh, it's cute. But I think the training will probably be very helpful because when you start training your dog, you work on a lot of like impulse control, and they just start to feel more relaxed because they're like, oh, I finally understand how to live in your world. Because if they don't know how to, it's like you living, going on and living on Mars and you don't know what you're doing, right? So you just kind of go with the flow and do what you think is right. And sometimes it's stressful. So I think just training him is going to be a good thing for you.
Oh, great. I will send you email then for your recommendation.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you. Thanks. All right. Anybody else?
Me, Lisa?
Say that
Hello?
again. Who?
I have a question. Lisa?
Hi, Lisa.
Hi. Mine is it's a quick question. It's a follow-up to the raw food question. So I feed my dog raw food. It's in nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
What toys would you recommend for that?
Are they small nuggets or the big ones?
They how do I describe them? They're maybe a 1/2 inch long and maybe a 1/2 inch in diameter, if that makes any sense. Maybe the size of the tip of your finger. The size of the tip of your finger.
Fiona, that's all you.
You know what, Beth? Why don't we just why don't you get that video out that I did sooner rather than later for everybody?
That'd be great.
Yeah, but also, I mean, because you're going to see all of the food dispensing toys that I have and all those things, and you can kind of figure that out yourself. But
yeah,
I know what you're talking about. You could even use a oh my gosh, Beth, what's I just lost the thought. What's the mat called that we have?
The what?
Snuffle mat.
Oh, the snuffle mat. You could if it's dry. Yeah.
You could even use the snuffle mat with that. You have a lot more possibilities with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'll be emailing out information about the webinar she's doing.
Yeah. I mean, actually, she can actually do a lot. She can do the box trick. She can do laundry. The laundry trick. All of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that box trick. I think next time I get a right size box from Amazon, it's going to get put to good use.
Yep.
Oh, no. Perfect. I'm talking about doing the laundry. I taught my dog how to do the laundry. That's a whole other different trick.
The laundry. Yeah, I don't know that.
She likes the box though too.
I know that. Yeah.
I think my dog will like the box.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And honestly, one of the best enrichment things you can do for your dog is to train them.
Yeah.
Training your dog.
I'm working with a positive trainer right now.
Awesome. Yeah. Building their cognitive brain, like it's like dogs are so smart and they really like to learn.
And my
dogs really
smart,
like to learn.
So it's even harder.
No, it's not. It's not. That's not true. It's not true.
Okay.
All right. Anyone else?
Hi, Beth. I've got one here.
Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Yeah, I've got 2 golden retrievers. They're both rescues.
Okay.
This one here,
oh,
he's the reactive one.
Oh,
but
he's
the
like,
other
Dad,
one
no, I'm not.
Well. Any tips for handling 2 of them when one of them is reactive?
Yes, you have to walk them separately.
Well,
nobody likes to hear that, but you honestly, if you walk them together, your other dog will become reactive.
Yeah, the problem is the other one is has separation anxiety as well.
Then don't walk them. Do you have a backyard?
I have a backyard, yeah.
Does the reactive one have separation anxiety?
Somewhat, not as much as the other one.
So could you walk the one that's not reactive and then play with the other one in the backyard?
Possibly.
And do other things with them, like the
Yeah.
enrichment stuff?
Yeah, the Max is the reactive one. He's very, very active. He's super active. He can run all day long. He's about 3 years old.
Do they play together?
No, I don't think they actually like each other. They're brothers, but I don't think they like each other.
That's a shame. What's their age difference?
I'm not sure, because they rescue. I suspect one is 3 and one is 5, something like that.
I wonder. That's sad. What a shame, because usually it's so nice when you have 2 of them that they
cuddle up.
run.
They cuddle up. They sleep together,
but they don't play together.
But I don't think they really like each other.
It's a shame.
So I'll say what you can do in your yard with Max. Have you heard of a flirt pole?
Say again?
It's called a flirt pole, F-L-I-R-T pole, P-O-L-E. You can buy them on Amazon. And I have a name brand of one.
It's like the cat toys with the things on the pole, the stick with the thing on the end.
Yeah,
but it's for dogs.
The brand I have is Squishy Face Flirt Pole by Squishy Face Studio.
Yep.
But I will caution you with that. You just have to stand out there and do this. You have to make sure that your dog warms up first. It's like you don't want to go out and do a marathon right away. You're going to get injured. So make sure the dog warms up, like maybe play ball with him in the yard for a little while and then use it.
It's actually really fun.
It'll tire your dog out. All right.
Yeah.
It's fun. But yeah, I do not recommend walking 2 dogs at the same time if you have reactive dogs, unfortunately.
Okay. That's a
Sorry.
challenge.
I know it is. It's very challenging, but it's just going to make your life worse.
The easier one, Harley, he's asleep in the corner there.
There's no
he actually loves being on the lead himself.
Oh, good.
He enjoys being out, and he's not reactive when he's on his own.
Then walk him.
Yeah.
Yep. And take him for walks, and if you can, take the other one by himself. But if not, then just do fun things with him.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing is, as I say, Max is very, very active. He could walk for miles and miles and miles, and he never sits down. He's sleeping now because we've been out and walked half the day basically.
Right.
But he needs that exercise.
Mm-hmm.
He needs a lot of running and a lot of walking.
Right. Does he like balls? Can you throw balls and fetch and all that?
Balls.
That's very tiring doing that kind of stuff. And training is really using their brains. Doing nose work is another good thing you can do. I don't know where you live, but if they have a good nose work class, I know we have like your dog's friend has a nose work class where they do it with reactive dogs and they just do them separately. But the sniffing part of the nose work makes dogs really tired. So that could be a really good thing for him.
I live in the UK.
Oh, okay. Well, I know trainers over there too. We can find somebody for you.
We tried a reactive class in the UK. And basically we abandoned that because it was just making Max even more reactive.
Oh,
he was so stressed.
That's
as soon as he got out of the car, he was stressed.
Oh,
he knew where he was going.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, if you want to email me, I can maybe try to find somebody over there for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good suggestions. Thanks.
Thanks for coming all the way over here. Anyone else?
Beth, do you hear me?
Yes.
It's Andrea.
Hi.
Hi, I'm having trouble with the reactions on my PC, but here's my scoop. First of all, I have to give you so much credit. Dazzle is a different dog from the help that you have provided us.
Good. I'm so happy.
Oh, she's a wonderful dog, but I'll tell you, we took every tip that you provide and really worked with her. The only thing that I have an issue with is she knows the dog. She has dog friends down here. She's perfect. If she doesn't know a dog and like I'm walking with one of her dog friends, she goes like insane and she starts to barking and carrying on. And I actually do the sit and stay stuff and give her a cookie then. So, you know, and I'm doing the Pavlov's theory. So she's pretty good, but how, I live in a, as you know, a condo community. How do I get her associated with the other dogs so that she has a good relationship with other dogs outside of her personal dog friends?
You mean you want her to be friends with all the other dogs?
Well, they want to be friends with her. Should I just like blow it off and say,
yeah,
friends?
Yeah,
Okay.
just walk away and say, we have enough friends, thanks. She didn't need any more friends.
Did you? I just said, did you hear that, Dazzle? You're done.
Dazzle, you get no more friends from here. No more for you. I wouldn't force her if she's not happy with it.
Yeah, I think she's trying to protect her personal friends. This is just a me, and I'm not, but I think she's just trying to protect her friends that she associates with, and anybody who comes into her personal space, she likes to go.
She might be resource guarding something. That's a whole different. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But even honestly, if even with the other dogs that you want her to be friends with, ask the people if they'll work with you and see if you can do some counter conditioning and desensitization distances and try to get closer and closer. You can try that.
Okay, good
All
show.
right.
I'll give it a go. Thank you so much.
This was good seeing you
today.
Good.
This was great today. I appreciate it.
Good. I'm glad you came. Thank you. Candace. Hi.
Hi. Had to find the mic button. I just want to introduce myself. We've talked by phone a couple times. I have Tucker, a 2-year-old boxer. And
what's your last name?
Tew, T-E-W.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
We did sign up for your class in January. So I know like Anne Margaret mentioned she might come. So maybe we'll get to meet each other.
Good.
But I just want to say that back in December, I had an incident and now I understand it was trigger sacking. We passed multiple dogs on the same walk, and like the third time it happened, he's an 80-pound 2-year-old boxer, and he almost broke out of my hand and almost knocked me over in the process. That was it. I have not walked him again since then. But I binge read the book that you were referencing, Annie Phoenix.
Oh, good.
And she said, stop walking your dog, and here's why. And I just want to say for everyone who's in this class, I stopped walking Tucker. He is a very active breed. Tucker. Look at him. Look at him. He is
what happens.
He is transformed already, and I haven't even started your class yet. I know he's not ready to see his triggers.
Right.
But the one thing that she said in her book that just really spoke to me, and I wanted to share this, she said a lot of times when she stops walking a dog or has a client, they're shocked at how much their dog sleeps afterwards because they can finally relax. And the other thing I did, which you had told me to do like 6 months ago and I didn't, I finally blocked all the windows off. My family,
I know nobody wants to do it.
I didn't do it. And it was so foolish because she said something in the book that just took what you had told me and the light bulb went off.
Right.
In my house, he does that thing. He sits on the bed, watches through the bedroom window, runs like a maniac to the living room and continues barking as the people walk past our house, and he thinks he's scaring them off. Well, what clicked for me was that when I'm on a walk with him, he tries to run on the leash because that's the behavior he's practiced in the house. And I was like, no wonder he's lunging and pulling so hard. He's trying to do what works in the house.
Yeah.
That was it. So he hasn't gone on walks. We closed all the windows and he just chills. And I learned a new game that I am loving. So I recommend this to you guys. I've taught him Find It.
Find It's awesome.
I started with a really stinky dehydrated salmon treat that he was so excited. He had never had them before and they smelled so strong. He sniffed it out. And so he learned the game really quick. Now he brings his toys to us and we'll play it for 10 or 15 minutes until he gets tired of it or we get tired of it. But it's adorable to watch him running through all the rooms in the house looking. That's awesome. And he's just...
That is a great game because it's like nose work. They're using their noses to find these things. It's an awesome game.
Yeah. So anyway, I didn't really have a question. I just want to say,
thank you.
The stuff is working and I'm so excited to get into like the real work with you guys. So thank you.
Well, we're excited to have you come in class. That's awesome. Thank you.
And
Fiona.
Candace, I'll ask you a question, because I tell people about the Find It game because it's free. It costs nothing except for some treats. And I do it all the time. I can just take 6 treats, break them in half, so that's 12, and just do it 12 times. And my dog is like passed out.
Right.
But what kind of, I use Play-Doh. I recommend to start with Play-Doh. Salmon treats.
The salmon
Play-Doh,
treats.
They're
Yeah.
so stinky. What salmon treat do you use?
Hang on one second. Matt, do you mind grabbing real quick the salmon treat? They just asked what brand they are. There.
Okay, because the Play-Doh.
I also
I'll
get
tell you the treat, but I will tell you,
dried salmon treats.
I will tell you, I didn't really know what I was doing when I tried Find It, and then Tucker was very confused too. So he loves Cheerios. He's fine with them. So I was using Cheerios at first. Well, they don't really smell very much.
Right. Yeah.
So, and I would put like 5 or 6 out at a time, and he would just kind of find one and then look at me like, what am I doing?
You got to help them. You got to help them.
This is the tip. If you guys want to do Find It, it's one thing at a time. And my dog luckily already knows the command place. His daycare had taught him that. And I was like,
nice.
That's like the best command ever. So he knows now. We put a mat down and it's like the game mat. He's going to play when he sits on this one. So he's all about it. This is Pupford brand.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I don't know it. Okay.
It's freeze-dried salmon. Yeah, freeze-dried salmon. And either one it's stinky and it's good.
But that's my tip. So start with a stinky treat, hide one thing at a time, and let him watch you hide it the first couple of times so that he literally just follows where you went. And then start going out of sight after that.
Perfect.
Yeah. I have step-by-step instructions on my video.
I wish I had that.
I know, but you get it. You get it. Just check Beth, what's it, Facebook, and you're going to send a constant contact thing out, right?
I will.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, he's handsome. Handsome.
Clearly they're stinky. It woke him up. I haven't even opened it. It woke him up and he came right over like, I want that. So I'm going to go give him one.
Have fun. All righty. Thanks. And Margaret, you have another question?
Is this the book?
Yep. That's it.
All right.
It's a good one.
I'm doing the right studying then.
It's a good one. Yep. And I also have a list of books and there's a great Facebook page about reactive dogs. There's a lot of things that if you want to email me, I can give you that information.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming. Thanks, Bob. It was good seeing you. Bob's another positive dog trainer in Ohio?
Illinois now.
I always get those two mixed up. So if anybody's in Illinois, he's who I'd recommend.
Thank you.
Awesome. We started training together a long time ago.
Yeah, it's been almost 10 years, hasn't it?
I know. It's awesome.
You did great today. Well done.
Thank you. I'm so glad you came. It's awesome. So thank you, everyone. Email me if you have any questions. Do you have my email? Do I have it on the end of this thing? Let me try to screen share again.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
I tried to sign up for a 30-minute consult. Are you not doing them anymore? You're only doing 60 minutes?
Did you email me with it? Or
I just emailed you, but I first tried to just sign up online and it said the link for the 30 minutes wasn't working.
I've been having problems with that. So just shoot me an email. We can do that. We can set it up. Okay, cool.
All
awesome.
right. Thank you so much. This was fantastic.
Thank you. I'm glad you came. Yeah, there it is. It's beth@unleashjoy.com. So if anybody has any questions, they can email me. All right. Thank you very much. I have another webinar coming out for Your Dog's Friend in, I think it's January. Shoot. Hold on. 30th? Yes. And it is all about things you thought you knew about your dog, but you don't. I'm actually writing a book about it. So it's a really bunch of really interesting stuff. I know. So I hope to see you there. All right. Okay. Bye, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. It's good seeing you, Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you. See ya.